Your career's interesting in the sense that you were a long time coming to Melbourne. You come here in 1970, you win the best and fairest at North. You finish 4th in the Brownlow.
Yes.
And then you pack your bags and head back to Perth.
Well, the thing was, I'd played a lot of interstate footy, of course, and appreciated playing against the Victorians, the South Australians, the Tasmanians, and got a level from that to where I thought I was as a player. And so then Ron Joseph, who came from North Melbourne, of course, came hunting me down, and he came up to Helen and I to our home, and he was quite young himself then, by the way, Ron, and so he didn't really know, what was happening. And I could tell he was quite nervous and everything, but we invited him in, had a cup of tea, and then he told me the North Melbourne story, and we liked it. We liked it. We thought, well, they haven't, they've struggled. They're a bottom team, and I'm for the downer. And so I thought, no, we should go and help them if we can.
But they weren't. So you're happy with that? You're happy with the thought of coming to Melbourne and playing with a team?
Yeah, and a lot of people said, which you'd expect them to say, oh, you don't want to go to North Melbourne because they're down the bottom. You're going to get flogged every week, and you're going to get hammered because you'll be one of the better players, and the blokes will want to really get into you. So you get all the negatives. I mean, you get that anyway. Most people do when they're in that situation. But I didn't take any notice of that, and we packed up and went to Melbourne. Came here to Melbourne.
So I'm intrigued by why you went home. There obviously was a clause in the contract, was there not?
There was. There was a $70,000 clause.
That North would have had to have paid?
Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry, yes.
A lot of money in those days.
A lot of money in those days, and so therefore it was pretty obvious I was going to go back to Perth.
Did you want to stay here?
It would have been good. It would have been good. When I look at it, it would have been good, but unfortunately that's how it was, so that was the contract.
So you came back in 1974 and played the period 1974 to 1977. Grand finals in every one of those years.
Yeah, it was
and a couple of flags.
It was really fantastic. Yeah. And look, the reason I came back was pretty obvious. Ron again came to me again and said, look, we've changed the scene at North Melbourne. We've got Ron Barassi, we've got Mick Aylett as the president and this and that. And we've got a few other players from the 10-year rule, which was Wadey, Davis, Rantel. So we've organised a good team, and we think we need you to come along and give the boys a hand.
And you would have agreed
midfield.
With that.
and I agreed with that. Midfield. So I had a good talk to my wife because my kids were still young Barry and Shane. And I decided, well, I'd done everything that I could in Western Australia. So, I'd love to come and give North Melbourne a hand with all the other boys to achieve something they hadn't achieved for 50 years, which was win a premiership.
Nice way to finish in 1977.
It was.
You win another flag. Your final series that year, you're in your mid-30s. You play 5 weeks of finals in a row because you lose your first one and there's a drawn grand final.
Correct.
And you average 28 possessions a game. I mean, they're good stats, those.
They were, yes. And more importantly, we had the wins, which was even better still.
Yeah, that's probably the honeymoon period for North Melbourne, isn't it? The mid-70s.
Well, I think, it was certainly the starting of it. There's no doubt they obviously won a couple of premierships after that. But you're right, I think North got their real lift from the 70s. There's no doubt about that. And it was great to be part of that.
I want to take you back to the previous year, 1976. I think of all the great games you played, my own view and the ones that I saw, I thought the preliminary final at Waverley Park, 1976, the 1-point win over Carlton was probably almost the perfect game. 35 disposals, and you never wasted them, did you?
No. Well, I tried not to. I think 76 and 77, a lot of people thought 77 was the best because that's when I think I had 40 possessions against Hawthorn at Waverley. So they were both at Waverley on the biggest ground. So I was pleased about that because I was one of the really oldies at the time, and people saying, oh, how are you going to get around Waverley? And so I thought, well, there's a challenge in itself there. They were both great games, and we made the grand finals once again. So it was a terrific run, something that a player would never have dreamt of at my age, to come back and play in 5 straight grand finals.
Tell us about these two rivalries. The two at club level, North played Hawthorn in your 4 years here a total of 8 times in finals, right?
Yes.
And you came up against the great Lee Matthews in most of those.
I did. I did.
It's incredible that the two teams could be so good in that one short period.
One short period of time, yeah. And Richmond were good too then, and of course Kevin Bartlett, who's a legend of the game. And I played against both Lee and Kevin, and it was something I was really proud of because, like I say, I was down the bottom end of my career at that stage, older, and they were sort of pretty much in their prime. And it was really great playing against them because, you know, I just thought, you know, it's a real great challenge.
I know what you thought. You thought I'm better than these two blokes.
Well, put it this way, I had a real fair dinkum go at them, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And we had some great rivalry, Lee and I, and also Kevin. And you know, there's other guys like Roddy Ashman from Carlton, who was a very good player, Rod.
Adrian Gallagher, Wayne
Richardson from Collingwood, yeah.
Gary Wilson.
Gary Wilson, very good player, Gary, terrific player.
Did you ever walk off the ground thinking that you'd been towed up by anyone?
I probably never ever thought that, but I may have been, I don't know.